Hello, and welcome to Sweet Nothings, our look at some romance novels from mild to wild and trashy to classy. I'm Cheryl, and I'm a librarian here at the Southeast Branch, and this is my partner, my pal, Margamillion, aka Lil Boo, aka the best co-worker you could ever have.
Hi, I'm Margaret. I work at the Southeast Branch Library with Cheryl for St. Johns County Public Library.
We like to partner up and do different things. We did a virtual reality program. Yeah. So it's always good to have pals at work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching this in the distant future, I just wanted to say hello, alien friends. And the reason my hair is this color here and not this different color here, and the reason I have dark circles under my eyes is because we are in the midst of a pandemic. So no judgment, please, aliens, and we come in peace. So to prepare for this week, I've been watching a show on Netflix called Married at First Sight.
Setting the mood.
Nice. It is a wild reality show where they pair up couples at the altar without having met each other.
Whoa, what do you mean they haven't met each other? Ever?
Ever. It's a team. They have a sociologist, a lifestyle guru, a relationship expert, and it's a really terrible show. I've only managed to watch about 6 hours of it at a time.
So these experts, they are the ones that choose the person's spouse?
Yes. And then they have to decide whether or not to remain married after, I think, 6 or 8 weeks.
How many couples?
There's 4 couples. So, yeah.
Wow.
But would recommend for some mental Doritos, I guess. So we want to, speaking of setting the mood, we want to introduce you to the heat-o-meter that we have devised, and I'm going to have Margaret explain that.
So the heat-o-meter is going to range from 1 to 5. 1 being like a chaste kiss on the mouth. 5 is all the steam.
Wow. Yeah.
Exactly. So each of the books that we're rating is not necessarily how we felt about the book, it's just the amount of steam that the book encompasses.
Just to give you just a warning, depending on your tastes. So
yeah.
So speaking of steam, for the first book, I would like to read from the erotic novel 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. See the passage here. Obediently I turn, and my heart is thumping, desire instantly replacing unease, coursing through my blood and settling dark and yearning. Low.
Cheryl, stop!
All right, we'll save this for another time,
okay.
Another day. Yeah, I don't think that's the best one to start out on.
I'll start us out.
Yes, please.
With this tasteful novel by Jane Austen called Emma. There have been many adaptations in film for this book, one being Clueless. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then most recently they did one this past year that is very good. I highly recommend, and I brought that with me as well, and I'll show you. But Emma is a very flawed character who thinks she knows everything and is a matchmaker, so it kind of ties into your Married at First Sight.
Okay.
She thinks she can pair people up and they're going to be happy forever. So, obviously in some cases that is tragic and it doesn't work out for her. But this is a very cute book. One of the things I love most about it is how much evolution the characters show as the novel progresses. And it also has I don't want to spoil anything, but the end kind of is a little bit revolutionary for the time. So if you've read it before, you might know what I'm talking about. If not, definitely take a chance on this novel and give it a shot. It's definitely a wonderful classic. Jane Austen.
And there was a movie.
There was a movie. I brought that too. So this is the most recent rendition. You can request it through DVD with the library. We own it. And it is very good. It is steamier. Oh, I didn't mention. Heat-o-meter for this is like a 1. Not too steamy. This, though, is definitely more steamy.
Okay.
There's some nudity.
Oh, okay.
It's not like too much, but it's there.
Tasteful nudity. That's a contradiction, but
yeah.
you get it. You get it. Oh, cool. I'm going to start out with my favorite of all of the romance books I read. This is not a genre that I'm usually is in my wheelhouse, but Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. She's a young adult author. She's written a couple of other books. Fangirl was one of them, and you said she also wrote.
She wrote a adult romance novel too called Landline.
Oh, okay.
Very, very good.
So the titular characters, Eleanor just moves to town. It's Omaha. It's 1986. She's a very tall, imposing, fiery redhead, and Park is a half Korean boy who's kind of middling when it comes to popularity. He doesn't want to put himself out there too much, and they're both 16. They meet on the bus. He grudgingly lets her have a seat because there's a little bit of bullying involved too. It deals with some really real life issues. And they bond in the really most delightful ways. One of them being comic books. He's reading a comic book on the bus,
Aww.
and he kind of slides it and reads it, and then he sees her looking, so he starts turning the pages more slowly.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it's really cute. And they also bond over music and the Smiths, which is one of my favorite bands. So this is kind of near and dear to my heart. She has a tough home situation. Her mother is married to a very abusive man. She has 4 younger siblings that she has to care for, and there's a lot of things that she doesn't have that she needs. But through this friendship, they grow and evolve, and just like a lot of most books, there's a conflict, and he has to decide whether letting her go and saving her from the situation she's in is worth the sacrifice. And it will bring you to tears,
Aww.
but in a good way.
In a good way.
Yes, fear not. There's no one's dying in this. I just really thought it was a great, poignant, charming, really wonderful book. So I would highly recommend it. And the hedometer, I would say, would be a 2. There's not a lot going on, but it doesn't need it.
Okay.
It's that good. So what you got?
My second book is also a young adult novel. This is I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Forest. The library owns a couple copies of this, so if you'd like to put it on request, you can. So this is a very cute coming-of-age story, kind of an enemies to friends situation. If you are a fan of Jenny Han and her books, I think you would very much like this. The protagonist in this wants to be a ballerina, and so rather than go to college, she wants to go to a conservatory of dance. And as you might suspect, her mother does not approve of that. And so she ends up on a road trip with her neighborhood nemesis, Eli, and his dog. And she wants to go try out without her mother knowing.
Oh.
So they're not friends, her and Eli, but they become friends throughout the book.
And maybe more.
Maybe more. You have to read to find out. You have to read to find out.
Awesome. That sounds really good.
It's very cute.
I would check that out. So from the poignant Eleanor Park, now we have the fluffier romance book club. And this was recommended for the program by someone I will not name that works here, Todd. And as part of a reading challenge.
Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. We do it every year.
In.
Yeah.
And it's a book within a book.
That's
Alyssa,
cool.
Yeah, Alyssa K. Adams is the author. It deals with Gavin, is a Nashville Legends baseball player. He's very famous, and for unspecified reasons, he's had a falling out with his wife. You find out eventually what they are.
Oh.
And he's been kicked out, he's despondent, he's down, he licks his
She wants a
wounds.
divorce?
She wants a divorce.
Ooh.
Yes. And with him being an athlete that travels frequently too, the relationship's kind of just fraught with a lot of conflict.
Okay.
So he meets a group of some of the players on his team and some other famous people, businessmen, etc., that have a secret book club, aka like a fight club.
And what do they read?
They read romance novels.
Oh.
Yes.
Spicy.
Specifically 17th and 18th century.
Oh, I get the
romance
cover
novels.
now.
So
He's got a very
courting the Countess.
Harlequin romance
Yes.
book sticking out his back pocket.
So these men feel like they can get closer to their women if they read these romance novels.
Okay.
So courting the Countess is what they intersperse parts of that book throughout this book, which I thought was an interesting concept. And it's fun watching them fumble and figure out how to act as the characters do in the romance novel.
Hedometer?
Hedometer is 4, I want to say a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of spicy in it, but it's a very satisfying conclusion. It's funny, it's charming, and I really enjoyed it for like a fun light read.
Very cool.
what you got?
My next book is My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. Sophie Kinsella is a go-to author for me. I try to read every book she writes.
Shopaholic.
Shopaholic is
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
But yeah, so she's great. She was my first introduction to like romantic literature. So she's near and dear to my heart, and I like her a lot. This book in particular is very cute, and I chose it because the main character in this, Katie, she is obsessed with the way she's perceived on social media. So she wants to make sure that she looks perfect on her Instagram, and she ends up in a work office kind of romance and an entanglement. So if you're into those types of romantic novels, this would definitely be a great one to try out. But yeah, it's very cute. Light and fluffy, but also a little bit serious as far as the topic.
Yeah, I can see that.
Heatometer, I'd say a 3 on this one. It's not too spicy,
Okay.
just spicy enough.
Yeah, perfect amount of spiciness.
Yeah.
Not like my chili. Segueing into my most difficult book to describe, because it deals with a lot of really heavy topics, is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Jojo is one of my favorite authors. She just recently wrote one called The Giver of Stars that was fantastic. It's actually about librarian pack horse based on a true story. These women who go out in Kentucky and deliver books. So that's near and dear to us.
Yes.
But Me Before You is, the main character is Louisa Clark. She's 26. She doesn't really know what to do with her life. She's been working, and it's set in the UK.
Okay.
She's been working at a cafe bakery for a long time, and she gets laid off. At the unemployment office, she gets a very unlikely assignment to be a caretaker for Will Traynor, who is paralyzed from the neck down. He's been in a tragic accident, and before the accident, he was a very adventurous man, very wealthy, risk taker.
So big life change.
Yes, and he's very bitter, naturally so. And when she comes into his life, of course, they don't like each other.
They don't like each other.
No,
What?
this is like a theme.
That's never happened.
Right? And they work things out, but he is interested in dying with dignity. He's done with life, and Louisa and his mom get together and convince him to give them 6 months to convince him to carry on. And Louisa and him go on a wonderful relationship, a jaunt, and they have adventures. And it's really good. I don't want to give too much away, but you're gonna cry.
Heatometer?
You're gonna cry. Heatometer, I would say like a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. And there is a movie version as well. Shockingly, it was a good film adaptation, which doesn't always happen.
Does not always happen.
If you find yourself going, that's not what was in the book.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that, but the main character who plays Will, Sam Claflin, I just watched him in another movie last night where he played like a monstrous villain, so that was really hard for me. But both characters are very likable.
In this movie, he's swoon-worthy.
Yes, definitely. So you can get the movie or the book.
Fabulous.
Or
and
both.
The movie I mentioned earlier, the adaptation of Emma, isn't 100% accurate with the book, but it is really, really close.
Yeah. That's always good.
Yeah. Okay. My next book is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston.
It's fantastic.
It's a very good
It's so
book. It's in a fictional United States, and it's the son of the President of the United States. His name is Alex, and he kind of has a love-hate relationship with the Prince of the United Kingdom. They have to fix their PR situation because people can tell that they might not be the best of friends. So they have to spend some time together, and it's contrived, but they end up bonding and learning a lot about each other, and
yeah.
frenemies. Frenemies
yes,
again.
Another frenemies.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a popular theme in
Yes.
romance genre for sure.
This is very cute though. It has
Yeah.
witty banter.
It's very timely. I feel
Yeah.
like it's very topical.
Yeah. It's available on Hoopla and RB Digital as an audiobook if you'd like to listen to it. If you'd like the paper copy, you can request it through our website.
And at this time, I'd like to change the heatometer to go to 1,000.
Oh,
because
I definitely say this is a 5.
Yeah.
This is definitely a 5 on the
It's
heatometer.
pretty saucy. Yeah, that was a good pick by you, for sure. So for my last book, I wanted to go tradish, and I picked Warrior's Woman by Joanna Lindsay. She's a pretty prolific and very popular romance novelist.
Yeah, I've had to put her books in order a few times. Yeah.
And just,
Got a
I mean,
lot.
how can you not?
Oh man, that cover.
Yes, with the hair and the Fabio-ness of it all.
Is it a sword?
He does. It's made of a special steel,
Of
only found
course.
on his planet, mind
Wait,
you.
excuse me?
Yes. So it is 2139. Tedra Da'ar is a special agent on her planet, Kristan.
Oh my word.
And it's a very egalitarian planet. It's very, women are equal to men.
Love
and
it.
she's a butt kicker. She's great. She goes on a space exploration mission with Martha, who is a computer, who is her BFF.
What?
And lands on Shallan's planet, and he challenges her to a physical fight in order to win her as a captive.
They fight each other?
They fight each other. But he won't hurt her to what he could actually hurt her. He holds back. He's 7 feet tall.
Oh my word.
His biceps are the size of her thighs. And he does best her, and she becomes his captive, and again, hate each other to begin with. A relationship,
and then they kill each other.
right? At the end, everyone dies. It's funny because it deals with a lot of feminist issues. This book was written in 1990, and she's really pushing, that men and women should be treated equally, and she kind of tries to bring her around to his side. And I thought it was a really interesting take. It's very hito-metery. It's definitely a 5. I've been reading passages out loud to people. I will not do that now.
She read some to me
for kicks. But I enjoyed it. I mean, it was fun. It was something that took me out of my comfort zone. I don't usually read this kind of book, so
it's a great distraction.
Yeah, it was a romp, and you'll be satisfied with the ending.
Can I have that?
Oh, absolutely. You're gonna have to wait. It's gonna be checked out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out about probably a week.
Okay.
My last book today is called The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. This was a very cute book, but very steamy. I would say it's definitely a 5, if not more. It made me blush.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's very steamy. There was a moment I was like, oh, get this thing away from me.
Hide under the bed.
Yeah, get away. Okay, this is about a wedding planner. Her name is Lena. She is engaged to a man named Andrew, and he has a brother named Max. And on the eve of their wedding, Andrew sends Max a text message that says, basically, thanks for talking to me last night, and you really showed me that I shouldn't marry her, so could you please tell her that we're not going to get married?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, it is rough. So then fast forward 3 years later, Mia pretty much hates Andrew's brother Max and Andrew, and they
That's a tough one.
I don't know why I picked that word.
Serendipitously.
Serendipitously. Thank you, Cheryl, for the assist. Meet again, and they have to work together. So I'm not going to say any more about it aside from there's a enemy to love thing again.
Oh, okay.
They don't kill each other in the end.
Oh,
Spoiler alert. It's a slow burn, but once it starts burning, it is hot. So, yeah.
We
Best
should
first man.
challenge our audience to find a book where the characters don't hate each other
Yes,
at the
please.
beginning.
Can you give
All
us
of a
some?
sudden, I'm going back. I'm going, yes.
Emma, they were childhood friends, although
Okay.
there is a little bit towards they
Okay.
do kind of hate each other a little bit at one point, but
Yeah, we want to know what
yeah.
you're reading.
definitely. Do you have any suggestions for us? Have you read any of these books already? Let us know. If you know of any books that we didn't mention today that you think are must-reads, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear about them. If you liked our video today, like it, share it. We are so thrilled to have been able to share these books with you.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, aliens, and thank you, US.
Thanks, friends.